Hey squad, welcome back for class number 2 of the IKC. I have Luke and Anita here to assist me with today's class. As you know, we've been working on squat variations, so today we're going to introduce the shrimp squat and work towards a little bit of an eccentric reverse lunge, which will look like your shrimp squat, gearing you up to work towards it moving forward. With that said, you will need a towel, at least for the beginning of class, and then we'll need some blocks or padding for when you bring your knee to the ground in your shrimp squat. We're gonna get started right away. Let's go into Deadbug. We need a block for that. Hand you both of those. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna have both of them lay on their backs. We're gonna position the block between the right elbow and the right thigh. From here, left arm and left knee are gonna be up. And we're gonna really focus on our breath work here. So they're going to lengthen their left side out, left arm and left leg reach out. Hold that for a second. Exhale, drive in and draw back in towards your midline. We're doing that for 10 reps. Really make sure to drive into this yoga block the entire time as if I'm trying to steal it away from you. Again, working up for 10 reps. As you lengthen and reach out, make sure there's no bend in your elbow, reaching long through that arm, long through that heel, and keeping your rib cage pulled down tight. And we're just using this as a tool to ramp up some tension before we get rolling through some of our mobility practice. What number are we on here, guys? Maybe, Anita? Yeah, 10-ish. After 10 reps, switch sides. Squeeze the block between your left elbow and your left thigh. Lock that in. Again, think I'm trying to steal that away from you. You're gonna lengthen on the right side. Right arm, right leg, reach out. Exhale, drive in. Again, 10 reps. Try not to bend that elbow at all. Reach long through your fingertips. Long through that heel, rib cage pulled in tight. So some of the work towards the end of class will be at a higher intensity, so I'm gonna use this as a gauge to mark how much tension you're creating. When done with your 10th rep, block can go to the side. We don't need that right now. Good work. Okay, I'm gonna have everyone go into a tall kneeling position. You're gonna use your towel. You will hold this towel behind you. So think like you're trying to keep tension into the towel and rip that towel apart behind you. Setting up in a tall kneeling position so your shoulders are stacked over your knees. So lift up off your heels. Let's collapse kneel, guys. Tall kneel, thank you. Lock your glutes into position, rib cage down. We're gonna set up for neck cars here. We're gonna end up doing 3 reps in one direction and then reverse for 3. Again, try to pull that towel apart the entire time, keeping tension. Let's start by tucking your chin down towards your sternum. We're gonna rotate your face all the way to your right shoulder. Pause at the right shoulder. Try to look over it. And then get really tall here, lengthening up towards the ceiling, reaching your chin up and around, rotating towards your left shoulder. Pause there, and then drag back across to your right, across both collarbones, and repeat for 2 more reps in that same direction. You're welcome to speed it up just a little bit, but make sure you're smoothing out that pattern. Actively driving your feet into the ground, engaging your glutes, stomach is tight, and still pulling that towel apart. After 3, you will pause in the middle, and then rotate left and reverse for 3. Nice work here, both of you. And make sure we're not just dumping back, really lengthen through your neck, reaching that chin up and around, tracing the top of that circle. We got 1 more rep to go. When done with 3 and 3, towel can go to the side. We're gonna set up for global spine cars. We will stay in a tall kneeling position. Just as a reminder, the global spine cars have a similar movement path to that of your neck cars. I'm gonna ask you to hug yourself, cross your arms. You're welcome to go into a collapsed kneel position if you need to as well, or stay up in tall kneel for a little bit more advanced position. From here, we're going to flex down, just a little bit, pull your ribs down. Let's rotate our chest to our right hip. Rotate as much as you can to your right. From there, you side bend over that right hip, and then get really tall through your sternum, reaching up, rotating around towards your left side. Once you get towards your left hip, you will pull your ribs down and rotate right for just 1 more rep. You can take your time on this, a little bit slower than you did on your neck cars. hitting all of your checkpoints. Okay, most of you should be familiar with this with all the classes you've been taking. Once you get to the middle, pause for a brief second, and then reverse. Rotate left, squeeze out as much rotation to your left side as you can, side bend over your left hip, and then get really tall here, reaching that sternum up and around over towards your right side. We have one more rep to go. Nicely done. All right, let's grab that towel again. We're gonna go back into a tall kneeling position. This time the towel will be in front of you. We're gonna go through some scap cars here. I'm gonna give you 2 reps where we just work on elevation and depression, and then I will cue you from an elevated position to exhale, roll forward, and we will go through 10 reps there and then reverse for 10. Make sure we're driving our feet into the ground, whether they are tucked or untucked. Engage your glutes, squeeze your stomach tight, pull tension into that towel. From here, elevate your shoulders up into your ears, as high as you can without compensation, and then slowly reach your knuckles back down to the ground. Let's just do one more of those. Raise up into your ears, and one more time reaching down. So we're gonna go through our first full rep of scap cars. Elevate up into your ears, hold that, protract, reach them forward. You can start to exhale and then reach your knuckles down to the ground. Retract, elevate up into your ears, exhale, roll forward, and reach down. That is rep number 2. We are working up for 10 total reps. And do your best to maintain tension throughout the rest of your body. Think about that dead bug we started with in the beginning of class when I cued you to really squeeze into that yoga block. And also use your breath to help direct your movement, just like I cued you. As we protract and roll forward, you can exhale. On rep 5 or 6 right now. Looks good, both of you. And trying to stay stiff as a board, no movement throughout the rest of the body. Ribs are pulled in tight. When done with 10, pause for a brief second if you need it. Pack in air, stay tight, and then we can reverse for 10 reps. Still do your best to actively pull that towel apart. Add your breath as you start to retract and roll forward. Keep your head up tall. There should be no movement in your neck. Imagine you have a glass of water on the top of your head. Cannot spill it. And when done with 10, towel can go to the side. Nice work, Nita and Luke. Okay, towel's gonna go to the side. You're gonna go into a quadruped position. Both hands will be down. We're gonna prep for some single arm work, but to start, I want both hands down. And you can right away roll through 3 scap cars in both directions, just to get used to the movement pattern from this base position. Still crossing off all your checkpoints in terms of the elevation, depression, protraction, and retraction. So 3 reps in both directions. And then we are going to set up in a single arm position. So from here, we're going to keep our right arm down and locked out. Left hand's going to go on the lower back, which you'll see where that comes into play in a little bit. And we're going to go through 5 scap cars here. To start, I want you to work on protracting, pushing away from the ground, then elevating up into your ear, retracting, and roll around. 5 scap cars there. And doing your best to lock that right arm out. We're adding an element of anti-rotation here, so do not allow that chest to rotate. Keep your trunk in line with the ground, so parallel to the ground. Again, 5 reps, and then you will reverse for 5. If you have tight shoulders, you may notice a little bit of a stretch in that left shoulder right now, being that your left hand is positioned on your lower back. When done with 5 and 5, we can switch. Left arm will be locked out, right hand is behind your lower back, and roll around for 5 scap cars in both directions. And doing your best to not compensate at your head or neck. and not rotating at your trunk. Your chest stays square with the ground the entire time. Try not to bend that left elbow, and keeping everything locked out. And when done with 5 in both directions on that left side, we're going to go back up into a tall kneeling position or collapse kneeling, depending on what you're comfortable with. Great.